Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Benefits Wise, where we're actually going to be talking all things pension awareness. We'll be discussing how we're going to be supporting you over the week of pension awareness and what it means, what we'll be providing, why it's important, and let's dive into it. So I've got Tash alongside me. Tash is our EB director. So thanks for joining me, Tash. I guess first question is, from your side of things, what is Pension Awareness Week? Why has it come about? Why is it important?
Yeah, welcome everybody. Pension Awareness Week is a kind of national campaign. I would expect that some people would have heard of it through their pension providers. They would have got perhaps some literature through the post about it. This year it's running mid-September, so I think it's the 15th to the 19th of September. And the idea is really to try and get people interested, engaged in, their pensions, their savings, because for a lot of people, their pension is ultimately going to be their biggest bank account. And a lot of people shy away from it because it's, they get worried, they get nervous, it's ages away, all of those things. So the idea is really to kind of, bring it to life and make it interesting and exciting and get people interested in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, as you said, the providers will be putting out communications. What we want to do is really to supplement that and to boost engagement. There's always this, whenever we talk to clients, it's always around how can we get people engaged in the pensions. So, what better time than an awareness week for us to do a campaign where we provide lots of comms. So on that note, we are going to dive in. There's a couple of different slides which we're just going to share, and then hopefully we can showcase what we're going to be providing. So Pension Awareness Week, as Tash said, runs 15th to the 19th of September. So we've got a nice bit of run-in time from here. And ultimately, what we wanted to provide yourselves was a ready-made comms toolkit. So, we can just push out the messages. Hopefully, it's not going to take too much of your time. We did do a bit of a roundtable and get some feedback from certain people. So we wanted to make it a multi-channel approach. So we've incorporated things like printed collateral. We're going to have some social snippets, obviously email and various different messages. We obviously want to make everything visually engaging. I mean, spot the creative director in the room. That's my bag. So myself and the team have tried to make sure everything's visually engaging, and we've put a bit of an Illumity spin on how we're going to do this, and also providing access to our advisors. And I don't know if you wanted to touch on that, Tash, kind of talking about, how valuable it is to actually speak to a human in the one-to-one approach.
Yeah, and I think it's massively valuable, Dan, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, this is potentially somebody's biggest, savings account. It's really important to get some help on that. So, we're going to make our advisors available to people, which some people will never have had in the past. And I would encourage as many people as possible, to take us up on this, to speak to an advisor if they've got a burning question about a previous pension or I don't know, a bit about where they're going to get to in the future. And because what we have to remember is everybody has a different retirement goal. Everybody, you and I have a different retirement age, a different goal. And I think it's really important that people, have some access to people who this is their day job. This is how they get people to live those dreams, rather than get to 67 or whatever it is and go, oh, actually, I should have got some help. So, we really want people to have that, to hand.
Yeah, get the answers to the questions. Everyone's on a different journey, ultimately, aren't they? And they're at a different stage within that journey. So, we wanted to make sure our advisors are on hand. So we'll come on to a bit of that later. But ultimately, what do we want people to get at the end of this week? Well, we want them to have the answers to those questions. Things like, what is inflation? Why does it matter? How big should my pension pot be? When do I need to start saving? What does a comfortable retirement look like? All of these kind of questions, we just want to give them the answer. So here is what we have developed. So if we look at the left-hand side of the screen first, 1 week before, we're proposing we send out a communication. That's just kind of, hey, Pension Awareness Week's turning up next week. Give you a bit of a heads up, and here's what to expect. With all of this, we've got a landing page, a dedicated landing page, so people can go on there. They can access, they can book in a meeting, speak to our advisors. But during the actual week, we came to the conclusion that if we can send out daily messages, we're going to get better engagement. Now, we originally started thinking, here's 3 things to do today, here's 3 things to do tomorrow. Ultimately, the people who are already engaged will probably go on that journey. But we just want to spark curiosity from the people who perhaps aren't engaged in the journey. So we've developed a kind of question and answer style comms campaign. So one day we might ask, if a cost of a pizza now is £12, what might that cost in 30 years' time? Give them kind of multiple choice scenarios with that. And then what we're going to do is develop a video explaining the answer the following day. So hopefully we can get a bit of engagement. They'll come back the next day, see the answer, then see the next question. And there's a bit of a story which we've created from day 1 to day 5 with all of this. Like I said, we wanted to make everything super accessible. So we've got QR codes, if we've got offline workers, we've got social snippets if you wanted to put it on the likes of Slack and Teams and any kind of internal messaging services. And like I said, we've got these drop-in sessions with our advisors. So we're encouraging people, hey, if you do have a specific question, speak to an advisor. As Tash said, we've got people on different stages of the journey, and hopefully, if they have that access and that ability to speak to someone, then that's only going to be a positive.
Yeah, and I think, Dan, the other thing is that people, um, I guess, historically shy away from pensions because the language can be a bit maybe difficult, or our industry tends to talk a lot in jargon, and I think that's what we're doing brilliantly here, is just putting it into normal language for normal people,
Mm.
um, and just getting people to really kind of get to grips with where they might be at retirement, because that's what we do, and that's what we're passionate about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hopefully that's a bit of a whistle stop tour in terms of what we're going to be providing. So keep an eye on your emails. What we're going to do is package it nice and neat for yourselves, so you can just take all the information, pump it out to the workforce, and hopefully we'll be able to get some great engagement levels. So we really need your support as well, because obviously we can't communicate directly to your people. So yeah, the more support we have from yourselves, the better. And hopefully it's going to prove to be a brilliant campaign. We're going to help some people get right on track for their retirement. So yeah, we're really looking forward to this. And this is kind of the first kind of major campaign around this type of thing we're going to be doing. And Tash, there's also the Talk Money Week in November, I want to say, where it's more kind of
Yeah.
big personal finances.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we're talking about financial well-being. We're talking about that kind of being the linchpin of all the other well-beings, the mental health, physical, social well-being, financial well-being is kind of in there. So we just want to be able to help people on their journey, whatever that might be.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, if there's any questions, please, drop in, give us a call. No question is out the realms for us. So yeah, please do get in touch, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some really good engagement in the campaign. And thank you all for your support, and we will catch you on the next one.
Yeah, see you there.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.